That's pissing off a lot of people. I think a lot of people at least wanted to, have till Saturday. So a lot of people are scrambling. Hello, it's me, Aaron, half of that RV over there, the lesser half, or third if you want to include Pam. But Pam doesn't really put a lot of effort into this site, so typically I'll just say half. So it's more half, but look, it's up to you. If you want to say Pam, then I'm 1/3. If you want to say just the two humans who put actual time and effort into this page, then we'll say half. The second week of October until about the second week of November, I was in the thumb of Michigan for the beet harvest. First time I had ever done the beet harvest. Going in, I didn't know anything about what you do at the beet harvest. So we'll explain a little bit of that. I'll explain what went down. I'll explain whether it's worth it. I'll explain what the job entails. I got a little bit of footage. I'm going to make sure that I hit all the questions that you guys had for me, which were all great questions. And I'm glad that you asked them. So I got to the thumb of Michigan. After my gig in Colorado, I drove up to the RV park that they have reserved for the beet harvest workers, right on Lake Huron in this small little town. So because Sarah did not go with me, I was just in the RV. I did not have a separate vehicle, which was the first sort of mistake. Because you do not work where you're at your RV park. You do have to commute. The orientation was like an hour away, and the piling site was about 15 minutes away. And that's where you'll be working at a piling site. I'll get into that. So I had to make friends at the RV park and get rides. Thankfully, my neighbor was very generous with that, and she sort of saved me. So I was able to secure rides to and from. So if you're not in a vehicle that you're willing to move every day, you either need a separate vehicle or you need to somehow secure a ride. So at the orientation, they show you a video of basically what you're going to be doing and a little bit of demonstrations. I think it was just a few hours. So let me just be clear. I know I had some questions about backbreaking work and farming and whatnot. This is not farming. You are not in farm fields. You aren't picking beets. The beets are mass harvested with machines, and they're put in trucks, and the trucks are driven to the piling sites where we work, and they dump their load of beets into the piling machine, and the piler separates the dirt from the beets and piles them. And so these piling sites are co-op. These are all owned by the local farmers. This is a co-op that they set up. So our bosses are the farmers, and essentially, more or less. Our direct bosses are just supervisors. So it's not farming, and it's certainly not back-breaking work. What it is, though, is a lot of, you're standing most of the time unless you find somewhere to lean. But you are essentially standing for 10 hours a day. Can be a challenge. I think it takes a couple days to get the legs under you, and because it is sore. You get really sore at first. But also the supervisors are great. and they're not pushing you to, you know, constantly be doing something all the time. They know that waiting around outside, standing outside is, you know, enough. And doing our jobs and standing outside for 10 straight hours is enough. Pace yourself. It's very important to pace yourself. The pay was about $20 an hour, something like that, maybe more. I should know that for this, but and then once you hit 40 hours in a row, it's overtime. So if you work 7 straight days, that's about 3 days of overtime. We worked a week and a half straight. The first 7 days, we got 3 days of overtime, and then we worked about 3 more days after that. And then that was it. That was the whole season. Let's see. Hold on. All right, first day of beet harvest. We work at these machines, and it's simply just to separate the dirt from the beets. So that's it. That's it. I work the wing where I sweep up beets. It's 6 in the morning.
So essentially there's 3 jobs at each one of these pilers. One job is the controller. They sit up in that booth, or rather they stand in the booth, and they open up the wings to let the trucks in. They close the wings behind them, and they also control turning the machine on and off. Another job is called a tear, and that is when the trucks pull in and the wing closes behind them. Like, we go up and we get a ticket from the truck driver, and that piece of paper says if a sample is needed to be taken or not. If a sample is to be taken, once we start processing their beets, I pull this lever here real quickly just to grab a couple. They come down the chute into the bag. I put the sample sheet in there with it. I close it up and throw it in that container there. The other job that I have to do as the tear is manage the barge, make sure that we're piling evenly so that it's a nice pretty wall like this. We're aiming for sort of a shrimp sort of shape, half moon type of shape. I can move the entire machine back at this control panel, and that's once we fill up a whole wall, we move the entire machine back a bit and start up another wall so that we can keep our nice shape there. Now the other job is a wingman, and that is someone who stands by the wing, and once the trucks are done dumping, they have pulled up, the wingman goes in, sweeps up the last of the beets to make sure that they get processed. Other than that, it's mostly standing around.
Hey, so it's Thursday, the day after we stopped working, and the camp host came by to everyone and said we had to be out tomorrow, which would be Friday. So a lot of people thought we'd still be working through Friday, let alone having to leave. So a lot of people are really mad about that, and I don't blame them. This is messing with people's plans. Today's the 6th. And we were supposed to block out all the way to the 20th of this month. We were supposed to block out, and now they tell us that we have to be out tomorrow. That's pissing off a lot of people. I think a lot of people at least wanted to, have till Saturday. So a lot of people are scrambling. Me personally, I'm not on any sort of schedule. I don't even have a true destination for my first night. Stop one night somewhere, so it doesn't bother me too much. But some of these people, a lot of these people stay in RV parks, and yeah, they're upset. They thought that they wouldn't have to leave right away and find somewhere to be tomorrow night. So anyway, let's see. Would I do it next year? Yes, I would. Probably not in Michigan. So I said it took a week and a half. That's a very short time. We were told to block out 2 weeks to a month, and it only took a week and a half. So a lot of people were not happy about that, which is totally fair. But what we were told afterwards was that this was the second straight year of a major drought in Michigan. So the yield was low. So the weather for the harvesting was great. There just wasn't enough beets to go for 2 weeks. So it would have been nice for them to tell us in the summer or whenever the drought was happening, hey, look, we'll have a drought. Yield might be low. So I think the communication isn't great. So that was one problem with the Michigan one. Also with Michigan is it's so far to drive all the way up to the thumb of Michigan. It ended up financially not being worth it. Only a week and a half was not worth it for us financially. We didn't really gain much. But what I would do is try Minnesota or North Dakota, which I hear have better yields and more work. I hear it went well this year in both of those areas. Those are also not as far to get to. So I already did apply for that for next fall. So we'll see. I think also if Michigan went another few days, maybe 2 full weeks, 14 straight days, then it absolutely would have been worth it. But it fell short by about 5 days, in my opinion. Also, a thing with the Michigan beet harvest was everyone I worked with and worked for were great. I loved my supervisors. I loved my coworkers. The day-to-day it's not hard work. You're around people you like. I was at least. So that made the experience easy, in my opinion. Okay, I wanted to answer this other question here about if people left early. So there was a point when the work slowed down that they went around and asked if anyone wanted to volunteer to leave. I had one person in my group at my piler site that accepted that. She left about a week early. Then with about a couple days left, when the work really slowed down, they told all the locals that they had to go home. There were a few, there were about 3 to 4 people who were working there and who lived locally, and they were asked to leave with about 2 days left. Okay, what should people absolutely bring that you didn't? Great question. Well, first, a vehicle, okay? Another is work boots, warm work boots. I had to buy some. If you're working at night, you need hand warmers, you need foot warmers. I can't even imagine how horrible it must be working at night. I worked in the morning before the sun came up for about an hour, and it was pure hell. Everything was frozen. So then the night, so that's another thing. You get an option of day or night. Pick day. If there's one thing that I advise on, it's pick the day sort, because the night sort is, I can't even imagine how awful that must be. I mean, they give you goggles and gloves and hard hat, and just make sure you're able to dress warm. I mean, the day crew, we start out with layers, and as the sun comes up and the day gets warmer, we can take layers off. So just layers and work boots, like I said. Okay, what surprised you most once you actually started? The most, I think, is how easy the job was, how easy it was to get along with your supervisors. They were just so easygoing, for the most part, good at explaining things, and just the morale for the most part was high. What's the one thing you wish you'd known before saying yes? I wish I knew exactly how much I was going to be working. I think the beet harvest is making a mistake by not paying out a minimum base. Look, if you drive all the way up here to Lake Huron, you're going to make minimum guaranteed this much. I think they're not going to get a lot of people coming again, because 2 years in a row where people weren't making money, that's not good. So I wish I knew what the yield was. I wish I knew how much I was going to work. I wish I knew where the piling site was and compared to where the RV park was. They could have let us know about the droughts. Look, it's second year in a row drought. Yield might be low. Are you still interested? If anyone out there is planning on doing the beet harvest, I highly recommend calling in the summer and asking if they're having major droughts again. Okay, what's the hardest part people underestimate? Standing around, the cold. Sometimes there's no escaping the cold. So don't underestimate the cold. Don't underestimate just how difficult it is to stand around outside for 10 straight hours. Pace yourself.